yeah. Here we are for a midweek edition of Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession. And away we go. A lot to do today. Charlotte Carroll from The Athletic is going to join us. Obviously, Jackson Dart is a huge conversation piece. Malik Neighbors, you get the two ends of the spectrum, right? You get the Malik Neighbors, very unfortunate, and you get the Jackson Dart, boy, what a thrill that was. Defense, they played much better. I know that, it was always when I'm a kid, Yankees, Giants, Knicks, Rangers. That was kind of like your four-pack. Yankees, Giants, Knicks, Rangers. Mets, Jets, Nets, Islanders felt like they went together. For me, I'm actually a Mets, Giants fan because my dad, stay with me here, okay? My dad was a New York Giants baseball fan. When they left to San Francisco, he gave up baseball. So when I'm a kid, I'm a baseball free agent. And he says to me, you can root for anybody you want to root for, just not the Yankees, because he hated the Yankees from being a kid and being a New York Giants baseball fan. So I jumped on the Mets bandwagon. That being said, I'm one of the rare Mets, Giants, Knicks, and Rangers fans. But that's what I am. My point, my long-winded point is Yankees fans, I'm sorry, not really, that you're having to endure this. And the two guys on the show, Nico and Steve, they were both at the game last night, and they watched the Yankees crap themselves and lose that game 3-1. And now it all comes down to tonight and or tomorrow for the Yankees to try to move on. So certainly that's upsetting for Yankees fans. But as a Mets fan, I mean, sorry. I mean, I got to endure your crap all the time. Did you see the Yankees video? Mocking Juan Soto. Some guys moved on. They show Soto. Other guys were brought in. They show Bellinger. So, all right. I see your game. We play your game. All right. What do we have today? We're going to announce the winner of our subscriber contest, which is very exciting. We're going to have Charlotte Carroll, like I mentioned, from The Athletic, fantasy waiver wire pickups, lock picks review. We'll start to look ahead to week 5. I don't know how we're in week 5 already. And here come the Saints, right? Here come the New Orleans Saints, who are sitting here at 0-4, and I'm confused by this. When the number came out, the Giants, just looking it up right now, the Giants were 1.5 favorites, and I think when I saw that, the Saints are now 2-point favorites. So this has done a 3.5-point swing. So obviously, as far as the bettors are concerned, Vegas got this completely wrong. And I will tell you, don't for a second think this is a Giants, like they're just going to go in there and win this game. I mean, the Saints look at this game the same exact way that the Giants look at this game. And that is, why can't we win this game? Well, the Saints are winless. But let's look at what they've done. They had a game in Seattle. They got crushed. They had a game against Arizona. They played well. They had a game against the Niners. They played well. And this past week against the Bills, they played a pretty good football game. I mean, I know it was a 12-point difference, but they had the ball down 5 well into the fourth quarter and were driving and threw the ball into the end zone. And it looked like it was caught for a touchdown, which with 7.5 minutes to go would have given the Saints the lead. It hit the turf, incomplete, kicked the field goal, 21-19, and it ends 31-19. But it was not a bloodbath by any stretch. So I do not for a second think the Saints are any kind of a walkover, any kind of a pushover. I think they're one of the, here's the truth, guys. I think they're one of the worst football teams in the NFL. But I think the Giants are one of the worst football teams in the NFL too, and that doesn't change. I mean, the Giants, and I get it, we're excited about Jackson Dart, and you should be. You don't have any playmakers on offense. The one guy you had, you lost for the season. So you look at the amount of talent that we've lost at receiver this season already. My God, it's unbelievable. You Giants lose Neighbors, then you watch the Jets on Monday night and against the Dolphins, and they lose Tyreek Hill. It's just like, God, there's something so fun and exciting about watching this level of receiver. And now you have 2 of the better ones in the NFL that are out. So here's where we are. Sunday, of course, the game's played. Giants win. Very exciting. We do the show. Everyone is thrilled about it. Monday, you still have that excitement. Now we're Wednesday. So now we're kind of equidistant from what we've seen and where we're going. And I still think you have a lot of optimism. I do. I think you look at the Giants and you say to yourself, they won a game that they shouldn't have won. They won a game they probably shouldn't have won. I give them a lot of credit for doing that. and they never trailed. They held I don't know if I would say a potent offense, but they won against a really good offensive team in the Chargers, and they held them to 18 points. So something has to be said for that. And I'm impressed with what I've seen from Jackson Dart. And I don't know how you couldn't be impressed with what you've seen from Jackson Dart. So a quick little update, because this is what happens. I get texts during the show. The guys are texting me. Charlotte is going to be kind of an extra 10 minutes. So we plan to have her right around now. A practice is running late. This is what I love about doing this live Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession, is that we're sitting here and we're going to have her live from camp, and we're going to get all the latest, right? What she thought about their defense. Like, she will have just spoken to Dable, and we'll get everything kind of broken down. So we can kind of adjust on the fly here and get into a couple other things. But I want to just continue the points that I'm making about what this Saints team is. They are a bad football team. They might be the worst football team in the NFL, but if they're not going to go winless, where are the wins on their schedule? This is a game that they look at and they circle. They say, there's no reason, absolutely no reason that we can't beat the Giants. So I think the Giants win, but I don't have any great belief that the Giants are going to win this game by any stretch. I think this is going to be a really tough game. Spencer Rattler is not a long-term answer at quarterback for probably anybody in this league, specifically the Saints. But is he better at this moment than Tyler Shuck? And the answer is yes. If Shuck was the starting quarterback for New Orleans, I would like the Giants' chances a lot better. But you figure you probably will be able to get to Rattler. The running game gave the Bills fits. I mean, the Bills' defense is really bad, but their running game gave the Bills fits. Kamara was good. Kendra Miller was good. They still have Chris Olave. Jawan Johnson is a good tight end. They're not bereft of talent. They're really not. They're not bereft of talent. So I like the Giants to win this game. We'll get into specifics a little bit later in the week of where we are with the game. And Friday, we'll do kind of a preview. But I do look at this and think that this is a coin flip-ish game. And obviously, Vegas, and I think it's not even Vegas anymore. Right now, it's like all the online books that people, the legal online books that people bet with. People are putting their money on the Saints. People are putting their money on the Saints because the spread has gone from Giants -1.5. So let me explain how it works if you're not really 100% sure. They try to say it's like, well, Vegas thinks the Giants are going to win by 2. That's why the number's set at Giants -1.5. No. The number's set where the number's set because they think that will give them equal money on each side. So I'm probably teaching you guys something. Nico, pop on here for a second, would you? All right, I want to ask you this. So you're a guy who was at the Yankees game. You're a big sports guy. Are you understanding how the whole gambling aspect of things works or no?
Yeah, I would
say
so. Yeah.
All right. So do you know that they're not setting the spread at what they think the final score will be at all? Because it's a common misconception. They set the spread at where they think they can get equal money on each side. You knew that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the thought is Giants. If we put the Giants as 1.5 point favorites, we'll get 50% of the action on the Giants. We'll get 50% of the action on the Saints. And then we get which is called the VIG, the juice, right? The 10%, that's going to come our way. Mm-hmm. Well, what's happened is a large amount of money. Because to change the number by 0.5 point a point, the amount has to be wagered is a lot. To change the number by 3.5 points, you're looking at a lot of money that's going on in New Orleans. And that's why the line has shifted from 1.5 to 1 to a pick 'em to 1 the other way to now the Saints are favored by 2. Like, you don't often see 3.5 points swings when a spread comes out unless there's some kind of a massive injury. Like the Ravens play this week. I forget who they even play. The Texans, I think. Yeah. And they were like 4-point favorites when the spread came out. They're now 1-point underdogs. But that's because Lamar Jackson's not going to play in this game. But there's no change, there's no injury, there's no nothing that's going on with the Giants and the Saints other than, you say Vegas because that's just kind of the
it also doesn't help. It doesn't help the Malik Neighbors situation and Tyrone Tracy still not coming back and all.
Yeah, that. But running backs, unless it's a great running back, they don't mean anything. And Scadaboo is probably considered a better player than Tracy anyway at this point. So that doesn't have any impact. Neighbors does, but the spread came out when they knew Neighbors was out.
Yeah,
The spread came out on Sunday night, so we knew. And again, even I mean, Neighbors is a top 5 receiver in the NFL. Even a top 5 receiver is not going to have that kind of impact on a game number-wise. I'm not saying it won't impact the game, but it's not having a 3.5-point swing.
So you're basing it off of people putting the money
That's
down.
what it is. People believe they only adjust the number based on what they think the public will do. So if they thought the public was going to now start hammering New Orleans, they would have changed the spread anyway.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. What happened is the money has been coming in fast and furious on the Saints. I got to tell you, if I was a betting man anymore, and I'm not, I would believe that that money would go. I think the Saints are probably would win this game. That would be my quick take.
Wow.
It's a good setup for New Orleans. I mean, there's not a lot of games you look at on their schedule and you say that's a win. This is one of the very few that you look at. I'm bringing up their schedule so they played the Bills this past week. We know they played the Niners as well. I got to find it though. This is kind of all right off the fly. Why could I not find this game? There we go. All right, so we got the Saints. Here's their upcoming schedule of what they have on the docket. So they host the Giants, which they're favored in, which probably won't happen the rest of the season. They host the Patriots, which is a game that is probably going to be similar spread-wise. Then they're at the Bears, which is another. They probably won't win that game. Home to the Bucs, they won't win. At the Rams, they won't win. At the Panthers is another one they'd have a chance to win. Home to the Falcons, they won't win. At the Dolphins, they do have actually some games that they'll win. They won't go winless. They have a couple of games that they have a chance to compete with. But offensively, they don't completely lack talent. They don't. I mean, Kamara is a really good running back. Kendre Miller, he splits time now. He's a real problem as well. Olave is a really, really good receiver when healthy. And Juwan Johnson's a really good tight end. So it's not that the problem is, like, from the Giants standpoint, you look at it from the Giants perspective and they say to themselves, all right, Spencer Rattler's never won a game. Like the average Giants fan, and I don't make light of the average Giants fan, but like an average Giants fan looks at this thing and says, Spencer Rattler's never won a game as a starting quarterback. But, he's completing 67% of his passes. He's thrown for almost 800 yards in 4 games. So he's throwing for 200 yards a game.
Against the bad Giants secondary.
He's only thrown 1 interception. It's not like you look at the numbers and you just say, my God, this guy he's a disaster. I mean, Kamara averages 64 yards a game on the ground. Miller's averaging 31 yards a game on the ground. And Rattler's averaging 25 yards a game on the ground. So they're averaging 120 yards a game on the ground. That's not awful, right? Juwan Johnson, tight end, very athletic, good receiving tight end, averages 51 yards a game. He's over 200 yards in 4 games. He's got 22 receptions. So guys on average, he's going 5+ for 51 yards a game. That's not bad. Chris Olave is 26 catches, mind you, in 4 games. So he's closer to 7 catches a game than 6. And he's going for 4. No, it's not a lot. Right? 7 for 46 is not great. And he's at about 7 yards per reception. So he's not getting great depth on his reception. And then you have Rashid Shaheed. And then you have Brandon Cook. So it's not like, listen, I'm not saying this is a great team by any stretch, but the idea that the Giants are walking into a situation where they're going to win by 30 points is just crazy. For 2 reasons.
Would you put it enough to put it in your locks this week?
Don't you talk to me like that. All right. Would I take the Saints in my locks? No.
If you're hammering it, you're talking so much about hammering the Saints.
If you demanded and you said you absolutely have to unequivocally make a wager on the game, otherwise something terrible happens in your life, I would take the Saints minus the 2. I don't want that to happen.
Sure.
But I think there's a 51% chance that the Saints are going to win this game.
Okay.
I wouldn't be remotely surprised if the Giants won this game. But I think you'd be. Why are you laughing? What is wrong with you?
Because I find it. I want you to put your money where your mouth is, and I want you to throw it on the lock.
No, I wouldn't. You
got to bring up your winning percentage.
Bring up the picks. You're just a bad guy. That's the truth. The truth of the matter is you're not a great guy. And so here now you look at that, you say 4-8, that's awful. Come back. All right. Don't tell me to put up my picks and then vanish. So here's the thing. And I want to ask you as we do this, we wait for Charlotte. She's at Giants facility. She's going to join us in about 5-ish minutes. When she's ready, you're gone, by the way. All right.
She's ready.
But she's ready to go?
She's ready to go.
But you didn't tell me that.
I texted you that.
I mean, do you think I'm capable of all these different things? Okay. I don't have this kind of ability. I'm looking at stats. I'm looking at numbers. I got the games. We'll revisit the games in a few minutes with you.
Yep.
But as we say goodbye to you, let's bring in, out at the Giants facility in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Charlotte Carroll from The Athletic. Charlotte, welcome.
Hello.
Giants Obsession. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on, and hope you can hear me. I'm outside. This is kind of, you get the natural atmosphere. Beautiful day, beautiful fall October day.
It's a little chilly today, though. It's not that warm today.
No, I got my leather jacket on. I'm loving this weather, so I'm happy.
So I got to be honest, all right? We've had a lot of guys do this. We had Jordan Manon on, who's a good friend of mine, but he joined us. We had Dan Duggan, who I know you work with at The Athletic. We had Pat Leonard. You by far are the one that is the prettiest face that we've ever had in that corner box there.
Thank you.
Long shot.
I'm giving the credit to nature today for that one. I'm not gonna put down the guys. It's all the nature background.
All right. So let me ask you this: what's the feeling? This is a team that hasn't won a football game. I was asking, it might have been Dan the other day. I said, let's think about this, because the Indy game they won last year was not even a good win. As a Giants fan, I wanted them to lose that game because I wanted to get the number 1 pick, and that took them out of getting the number 1 pick. So I think we determined the last time they won a game that fans were excited about winning was like week 5 against Seattle last season. So we're talking almost a full year since the Giants have pleased the fan base and won a game that the fans actually wanted them to win. What is the feeling inside that building in East Rutherford of we finally gave the fan base an important victory?
Yeah, it was a relief. I mean, this is our first day back since the game on Sunday, so we'll get in the locker room later, kind of get a sense. These guys are really good about, especially after losses, which has been all too common over the last couple of years, of just, putting that aside. It's on to the next. But I'm sure, it'll be a little bit more active, a little bit more excitement. Not that that hasn't been the case, but definitely, they're riding a little bit of a high, and just like the sense of relief was palpable in the locker room on Sunday. You could just, like, no matter who you were talking to, it felt really good for them to get that win, and especially the guys that have been here the last couple of years.
It was a tremendous win. It really was. They needed to get it, and especially because they played well and they were in the game. Because week 1, they didn't play well offensively; they were terrible. Week 2 was a game they should have won, and they let it get away. And I've talked about this so much on this show, is that how many times are the Giants going to be in games where you look at it like that's a game they can win? Well, if you don't win the games that you're in all the way through, how many wins are there on this schedule? So I just thought to play that well, and if it got ripped away and they didn't find a way to win that game, it would have been really, really, really deflating.
No, 100%. I mean, you walked into the Cowboys locker room, and that was the sense of just like they had that in so many different ways. They could have won that game, and that just didn't happen. So to your point, if they walked out of Sunday without a win, when the defense had played so well, Abdul Carter's going off with 5 quarterback hits. Jackson Dart is, making it through, toughing it through a hamstring, being cleared of concussion protocol. If they couldn't have left that with a win, especially with the fan base there to support them, that would have been really, really bad.
So you were there. Was the fan base, because it feels like the second something goes wrong with this team, the fan base is like, oh, here we go. And there's a lot of animosity. And I understand why there is. Was the with hope with Jackson Dart at quarterback, was it a different feel in the stadium on Sunday?
It was. I mean, it's hard sometimes to tell because we're in the press box, so you don't always get a full grasp of like the crowd. You can hear it. It's not like, if you're out in an open air stadium or open air press box, like some of these facilities. But it definitely, I thought I heard more "Let's Go Giants" chants. I don't think I'm crazy to think that I heard that more throughout the game, and at like crucial defensive moments too. Like you're making a crucial defensive stand towards the end of the game, you hear that. They just seemed more intrigued, more excited. You're not getting boos. That was a big difference. For the first time in a long time, I didn't hear any. So if you could get through a game without boos, I'd say that's an accomplishment at MetLife Stadium.
I would agree with you. And for either of the local teams, if you can get through a game without boos, that's an accomplishment. What does the offense look like moving forward for you, sans Malik Neighbors? Because as great as the win was, and it was a great win, and the defense played well, and Dart was exciting, and you saw the Dable-Dart relationship. It's like how excited the head coach was. But the one thing that's like, oh, God, even in even in great moments, you get ripped away, is that you lost your one playmaker on offense for the season. So moving forward, what do you think this offense looks like? Like, where do they turn for a big play?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the curse of being a Giants fan, I guess, is like, one thing right, one step backwards. Unfortunately, with Malik Neighbors going down, what it looks like, we're going to find out. I mean, a lot more Darius Slayton, a lot more Wandale Robinson. They've been the number two, number three guys. We'll see if Jalen Hyatt can make an impact. He's had a really quiet start to his career, a really quiet training camp. We'll see if he gets in there, if they target him at all, if he's able to kind of step up and make a name for himself. Cam Scadaboo has clearly been a huge part of this offense already. Him and Dart are kind of like buddies connected at the hip already. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of that. We should not probably see Tyrone Tracy this week. He's not out there today at practice. So we'll see when he can get back there. But it's going to be a lot of, playing with the guys that they have for right now, and then see if they end up making a trade. If they pick up someone in free agency, just kind of see what they can pick up someone available off the street, what that looks like.
I mean, the thing is, it stinks is that you were excited to watch Dart with a legitimate stud receiver and watch that chemistry build as, the remainder of this year, no matter how many wins it meant to get to, and then eventually into next season, and hopefully the team was going to be better. I don't think it like stunts the growth of Jackson Dart a lot, but it just means he doesn't have that weapon. Where's your overall take of what we saw from him? Like, is there reason for tremendous? Because it's hard to imagine that people are not tremendously excited about watching him week one, because he seemed to have that just. It didn't feel like the moment was remotely too big, and that's a rarity for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, he just looked calm and confident. He looked so ready to go. I mean, you just saw that from the first series. I mean, they go down and score, which is impressive in itself. And he had these moments throughout. Obviously, he's a rookie. He's going to have his mistakes, but watching him, that one where they're back down in the end zone and he's just kind of like gets out of the pocket and then he's got the hand motion to Slayton.
I love that.
To me, yeah, that was such a cool moment to see, because like that just looks like a quarterback who's got his stuff together and looks like he's ready. He's got the moment. You talk with his teammates after. There's no like fretting when Malik goes down. They're not talking about how he's like in panic mode or anything like that. They're just like, okay, on to the next thing. I think he was on the sidelines a little bit during that moment, talking with coaching staff, just trying to figure out what's next. If I'm remembering like what I saw through my binoculars and like what you're seeing. But this is a guy who's just like, he's been ready for the moment, and he's kind of been calm and ready since he got here. New York coming into is it's a different market. And as much as like you can try to be like, oh, it's an NFL team, it's all these same opportunities, you get faced with different things. And can he handle this? Can he handle the media? Can he handle the fan base? And so far, he's lived up to that challenge. Again, one game, it's very early.
Right. I get
There's so much, there's so many things that could go wrong, and you don't want to see that happen. But every step and kind of every part of the process, he's met and exceeded expectations, which is why he's starting and why he took over.
To grab him as well in this draft. So a lot of people had said they're not going to make the change until Andrew Thomas is back and healthy, and he played the game against the Chiefs. I think it was like 28 snaps, something in that range. Did he come out of this past game, week 4, healthy and fine, and we're continuing to trend into we're past the point of massive concern around the left tackle?
Brian Dable said he asked him how he was feeling. He said he's feeling good. So that's exactly what I hear. You don't want to hear he's got a setback. The big concern for him was like re-injuring, and yes, you don't want that to go poorly and kind of backstep. But so far, so good, which is exactly what you want to hear.
Exactly what you want to hear. Is it easier in your mind on the offensive line to have a quarterback that's mobile? Because not only like his mobility, but the fact that like the RPO, there's a chance that it goes to Scadaboo, there's a chance it stays. Like, I don't know, it just feels like to play with a quarterback that's, I mean, younger, more elusive, certainly, but also a threat to run would make it easier on an offensive line, which ordinarily is a very mediocre offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked with them specifically about that. That's inspiring some of my locker room questions now. There you go.
It's going to happen. You're going to leave this interview and you're going to go into the locker room and be like, all right, guys, here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, exactly what I want to know. But I mean, you have to imagine that, and it definitely presents a bigger challenge for opposing defenses, because you have to scheme. You can't just assume he's going to be in the pocket like you would with Russell Wilson. Like, this is a guy you're planning 11 on 11 for instead of, 10 versus 1 kind of a thing. So it's definitely, I definitely did the math wrong there trying to explain that.
Eh,
But it's that one of those days. But no, he's definitely presents more of a challenge for opposing defenses.
I've asked you about the offense. I feel like we've kind of covered that offensive line, quarterback, wide receivers. Look at the defense. That by far and away, in my mind, and I think everybody's mind, was the best defensive performance we've seen. How much of it is, boy, these guys just played great? How much of it is the offensive line for the Chargers is all sorts of banged up and suffered injury during the game, not just like coming into the game?
Yeah, a little bit of both, but this defensive line, defensive front has like, had its moments throughout the season. It just kind of all came together perfectly on Sunday, which is exactly what you want to see. Abdul Carter was back on the edge primarily and looked like a monster, his breakthrough game as a rookie, 5 QB
Mhm.
hits. I think they had 27 pressures as a whole as a front, which is insane. They just made Justin Herbert's life miserable and he was all over the place. And even though I think it was only 2 sacks, it felt like it should have been way more, just the amount of times they were getting to him and causing, disruption. So they played really well, and that's exactly what you want to see. And they also played with a lead for the first time, which I think is helpful, and can't be overstated. In this is like this defense, you want to see that in that position more, so they can kind of wreak havoc and cause chaos.
So Carter, clearly his best game. Thibodeau and Burns have been consistently good. Burns, I think, is like an all-pro caliber player. Some of you agree with this if you heard anything like this. Dexter Lawrence is a wonderful player, but I thought the first couple weeks of the season he was not great, not terrible, but not all pro caliber. Boy, that's a guy you have to just stop. He was the best version of himself this past week in week 4. You agree?
Yeah, that's not wrong. I mean, he looked incredible and he just looked more and more of himself than like last season and in his past versions than he did the first 3 weeks, which, you want him to trend upward and that's exactly what he did. I mean, first career interception, getting up the middle, just looking more and more like the burden that he can be.
So I don't know if you even pay attention to this, but let me throw this out there. So the Giants open up as 1.5 point favorites for this game. That number has switched to the Saints are now favored by 2. So the gambling public is really of the mindset the Saints are going to like they're the favorites to win this game on Sunday. Is that a like this is the Saints are a bad football team. The Giants are maybe not a great football team either. Is it crazy to think that the Giants go down there and shouldn't be favorites against a team that's sitting here winless on the season?
Okay, so I'm not a gambler. I'm not
Right.
like plugged into like the lines and the way
It's
they
fine.
move and like what goes into it. I don't think it's like crazy. I mean, this is still a team that's only got 1 win.
Mhm.
And the Saints are deceptively like staying in games. I
They're
mean, that
not
Bills game
bereft of
looked,
talent either. Like Kamara
yeah,
is still a hell of a player, and Olave is a good player. They're not, and they're always traditionally really tough in the dome. So they're not bereft of talent. But I don't know. I was surprised the Saints are favored in this game now.
I do think the Giants should be favored. Like that doesn't like I mean the winning team should probably come in as a favorite when it's coming against an 0-4 team. But then when you factor in, at home that they've been closer, that they had a
Mhm.
really strong game against the Bills, it forced I think Josh Allen into his first interception of the season, got some pressure back there as well. So, I mean, considerations, and it's going to be loud, and then I think that benefit is going to go to
Oh,
him and or excuse me, go to the Saints, especially with a rookie quarterback. I mean, obviously Jackson Dart has made one start, but he's not had, that road start yet. Like that's going to be really interesting in that dynamic. We talked today with Brian Dable of just like the noise element too. I sound, that's kind of cliche, but it's going to be really loud in there. And if they can communicate effectively as an offense as they're going down the field when that's the case.
so you talk with Dable often, and you talk with him today as well. Do you notice a difference? Is he like have a relief, like a massive sense of relief? Because this thing, I mean, this Giants fans are kind of at a point where it's like there's no more excuses. They don't want to hear anything about we were close, we were this, we were that. It's just constant losing, and you finally got to win. Do you sense in talking with him that he's like, all right, guys, at least for 1 week, the pressure kind of dials down a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, he talked last week. This was his decision. He was very adamant using the word my
Sure.
decision over and over. So this was going to be, he lived and kind of died on the hill of going to Jackson Dart this early and at this point of the season. So you saw the relief immediately after the game and their interactions, the embrace between Dart and Dable on the sidelines, immediately following the game, his comments. So there's definitely a sense of relief, but I mean, at the same time, it's just one game, so they're focused on this week, and that kind of, those wonderful moments from Sunday are now on Sunday, and they're focused on the Saints this week.
Sure. How like there's been a lot of discussion. I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable spot, but like there's been a lot of discussion about Dable and his job and Shane and his job and what has to happen. Like, is there is it how it looks? Like Dart's coming along and it looks like he's gonna be a really good NFL quarterback. Is it a number of wins? Is it a combination of the both? Like what boxes need to be checked for, in your opinion, for the brass to be back next season with this team?
I think it's still kind of early to say. It's hard to get a read on that, like what that looks like. I mean, John Mara has repeatedly talked about, wanting success and he wants to just feel like the team's better than it was and like it's looked better. But at the same time, he did say at the end of last year, I'm running out of patience.
Right.
So what does that patience look like to ownership? Is it, this quarterback is developing? But I think at the same time, you need to have wins. You cannot have a fan base that is booing in week 3. That's the home opener. Like that's just probably unacceptable. So again, it's early. They have the chance to go 2-3, and suddenly this is back on the train tracks, and everything is going back according to plan.
Yeah, and then for their troubles, if they get to 2-3, then they get to have Philadelphia at Denver, and then Philadelphia again. It's really a very, very nice, tidy, easy schedule they have come up. And that's the thing that's so daunting is like, most teams you look. I went through the Saints schedule before during the show, and it's like, they have Carolina twice. They have very winnable games. It doesn't look like on paper the Giants have a lot of very winnable games, and the fact that a last place team has this level of schedule this year, it's terrifying, to be honest with you.
Yeah, as a fan, you got to be looking at that, just like shaking your head since it came
Mhm.
out in May of just like there's no easy run. And that was the whole thing too with Dart. I'm sure you've talked about it ad nauseum of just like, when do you put this guy in and what's a good landing spot for a player with like no NFL experience? And it's like, do you want to put him on the road? Do you want to put him at home? Like, at what point do you feel good about like putting him in against the opponents that are upcoming? So it's just like no easy spot. He lived up to it, at least in his first kind of appearance. And I think that has to give you at least some confidence going forward. Again, the home Malik Neighbors absence really takes that and brings it down of like, what can this look like going forward? But at least he can handle the moment and rally his teammates a little bit to get that win and bring a little energy boost.
Last one for you. I'll let you run. I really appreciate the time, and that is on the quarterback situation, the backup quarterback situation. Could you see as we approach the trade deadline, because they've already said Dart's the quarterback for the rest of the year. We know that Winston's on a 2-year deal and he's going to be the backup. Like the succession plan is it's going to be Dart as a starter and Winston as the backup for next season. Could you see a world where the Giants move on from Russell Wilson and just insert Winston as the backup quarterback in the second half of this season?
I don't think that's improbable. If they get calls, Joe Shane's always been willing to listen to things. That's like been a big part. He's not going to hang up the phone. He's always going to kind of hear what there is to say. And we've seen so many quarterback injuries. It's not improbable that that's gonna happen again. And he's also cheap. Russell Wilson would be coming very cheap to a team. I think less than 2 million because of the way his contract was structured. So it's a good opportunity. Whether a team wants to take a chance on Russ when he got benched in New York, I don't know. But one thing too about Russ is, he's at least like, behind Jackson. Jackson was very like he brought up the quarterback in his opening statement after the win and how important he's been. So right now I think things are fine. But if they get a call, you never know.
And he's not an idiot. Like I actually knew, and this is a funny story. So I covered NC State football, lived in Raleigh, North Carolina. His first ever start, I was at that game against South Carolina in South Carolina, and they I think they lost 31-0. He barely moved the football. So I've known him forever, and he's a great guy, but he's not a dumb guy. Like he's a bright guy. He's a kid. He's not a kid anymore. He's a bright guy. So he knew at some point, whether it was week 4 or 7 or 10 or like the job was going to be handed over to Jackson Dart.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is kind of he came in here before they'd picked a rookie quarterback, before Jackson Dart was on their roster, him and Jameis. So I'm sure, I mean, that's gonna happen at some point. Can't say. I don't think I've talked with him about that exactly, but it is just the reality of the situation. He's someone who still wants to play and still believes he can kind of give it his all. So we'll see if that ends up being the case or if he ends up here for a little bit longer.
All right. Well, listen, speaking of a little bit longer, I've taken enough of your time. I know it's a little chilly outside. You have to wear a
Oh,
jacket.
I love it.
Conversation. So get in there, talk to the guys, enjoy the week. I don't know how many wins they're going to get, but I'm sure it's going to be a real positive week around this facility. I appreciate you joining us, and hopefully you and I'll get a chance to meet in person one day.
Yes, no, would love that. And I'm happy to be outside and talk Giants. Like, it means I don't mean to be inside on a day like this. So I'm all
There
good.
you go. All right. So from the Athletic, Charlotte Carroll, thank you so much, Charlotte. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. So there you have it. I mean, just some real positivity around this football team right now, and there should be. Right, there should be, but we knew, like Russell Wilson's not a dummy. He knew at some point in the not so distant future this job was going to go to Jackson Dart. Now I know that he signed with the Giants, but there's no way, because I think Winston signed first, and it was Russell Wilson after. There's no way that either of those two guys thought, okay, now, all right, great, I'm the quarterback of the future of the Giants. There's no way. At best case, they thought they'd wind up being the backup to a young quarterback, or maybe the situation that it turned into, which was you're the quarterback until the kid is ready. And we didn't realize it would be week 4 that the Giants would, pull the plug so quickly on the Russell Wilson project, but it was time. And you saw when Wilson went into the game, you watch it, you're like, oh God, he's old, he's slow, he's not athletic anymore. Like Jackson Dart is the guy that should be starting games. And I would even go as far as this, and I know that Wilson was great week 2. Jackson Dart probably, looking at what he's able to do, probably should have been starting from the jump. And a lot of people like Mike Tenenbaum, Louis Riddick, like a lot of people were of the mindset that, like, let's just go. They're not going to be a very good team anyway. We think he's capable. And the thought from many people was he's better than Russell Wilson. And I fought that. I continued to think, no, come on, how could you think that? Kid's never played. He's not ready. Let him sit. Let him watch. He's better. I will tell you this. The Giants don't win that game on Sunday if Russell Wilson is the quarterback. They don't. Dart's going to be better in the red zone. Dart's going to be better athletically. Dart gives you a rushing presence. So think about this. You run the RPO, you stick in the chest of Cam Scatterbo, but there's the threat that it gets pulled back out, and now he takes it around end. So it's a very different looking team, and there's some juice. There's some energy to this team right now, which we haven't seen a lot of. Nico, come back. I want to bring you back here on Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession. So there you are. How you doing?
How are you, Dave?
I'm great. She was very good. I enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, I thought it was very good. I was just telling Steve that.
Now, let me ask you this, though. She was very good, or I'm so good
I think
that I made her seem very good?
I think every week, we have this conversation. I think your questions are just on the mark every time. And I think that,
and I disarm guests.
Yes.
Like I'm fun, I'm casual, I'm relaxed. That I make people feel comfortable.
Yeah, I would say so.
Have you heard the requests coming from people? They want us on Apple Podcasts. Have you heard about that?
I have heard about that.
Yeah, apparently that's going to happen very soon.
That is going to happen very soon. Yes, we're just getting accepted, and it should be happening within the week.
Also, Instagram, TikTok, we're on both of those platforms. DR Giants Obsession is how you can get involved there. You've heard of Twitter?
I've heard.
DRNYGO.
Yes.
And also our YouTube channel. I don't know what we're at now. When I walked in today, it was at 1,239 subscribers, Nico.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Have we increased since the jump today on the show?
We have not.
Really? That makes me sad.
It does.
I'd like to be at 14,000 by the end of the day. You think there's any chance that happens?
I mean, we had a great jump Sunday.
14. You think there's a chance we get to 14,000 today?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. But I'd be if we got to 1,400 by the end of the day, I'd be very pleased with that.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
That would be fantastic.
If you're not subscribed, it shows.
Put the thing up. Put the thing up where they can see.
We don't have that thing anymore.
What are you talking
It's right
about?
above us. Look.
Oh no.
We don't have the thing anymore. The
What do you mean? We don't have the like and subscribe buttons?
We don't.
They're gone.
They're gone.
No, I'm done. I'm out. Where the subscribe button was one of my favorite buttons.
We have the like and subscribe.
I love
button.
the mute button.
I could show you this, and I could show you why we can't run it anymore.
I'm a fan of the fast forward button.
This is the reson why we can't run it.
Tell me why. Because it takes away the whole thing.
Takes away the rest of the
can we just at least put it to rest now? Can we say goodbye?
You can wave to it in the bottom left. In the bottom left.
This is a sad moment here on the DRGO. this is going to be the last time you're going to see the like and the subscribe.
It will come up in a different way next time.
Okay.
Once we get that ready.
But in this incarnation, flashing and a sexy nature, this is it.
This is it.
I didn't realize it was going to get so emotional. If you see that like button, like it, and the subscribe button it's unbelievable. Subscribe, and I implore, and you will not be disappointed.
You definitely won't.
Yeah. All right. That's a very sad moment. I think I've got my bearings back, and I'm feeling much better now. We're gonna make the big announcement in about 10 minutes, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have finally our DRGO giveaway for the mini giant signed helmet.
Right.
We have picked the winner, and we are going to announce it on the show, and he will be here on Friday with us.
You have that confirmed?
I have that confirmed, yes.
Is there was there a science behind picking the winner?
So basically what I did is I grabbed our subscriber count and I randomized it in a randomizer. I promise I did not pick any bias or pick anything.
How could you pick bias? You don't know these people.
Yeah, I mean,
except for Komodo Malello, the guy from London, who was the milk
Moloko
Veloso. You don't know any of these people.
No, I don't. So yeah, I randomized the winner, and I'm pretty excited about who it is, and how early he subscribed, and his activity in the community. So
that's wonderful. That's exciting. I can't wait to find out who won. And you said I'm going to talk to this person on Friday. That's exciting as well.
Yep.
Questions, comments. Where are we with those today?
We do have some comments coming in.
We do.
This is actually one that we'll kind of talk about Friday, we'll kind of talk about Friday with our starters. But David Carlson asks, am I crazy for wanting to start Dart over Stafford in a tough Thursday night football game against San Francisco?
So it's funny you say that. I'm in a guillotine league. You know what a guillotine league is?
Is it like a survivor pool?
So it's similar. So basically there's 16 teams, and the only one team gets eliminated every week. And that team gets the guillotine. Mm-hmm. And now after week 1, there's 15 teams, and week 2, there's 14 teams. So I had my quarterbacks were Jordan Love and Jackson Dart. And I thought long and hard, do I go with Dart? Do I play him this week? What do I do? Justin Herbert was available because all of the free agents now become available on the team that gets eliminated, which makes it kind of fun. So you have to decide how you want to spend your money. I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to pick up Herbert. I'm going to pick up Justin Herbert. So that's a long routed way of me telling you I can't sign off. See, the advantage you have with Dart is I think for the most part, you're going to get a free touchdown. You say, what does that mean? He ran for 54 yards last week. That's a free touchdown. So he ran for 1 touchdown. He threw for 1 touchdown. That's, say, 12 points in a 6-point touchdown league. He threw for 111 yards, which is not impressive, which is what? 4 more points. So you're 12, 4, 16. And then he ran for 54 yards. So that's 22 points that he gave you. So that's a really good fantasy day. That being said, I'm not brave enough to do it, although I wouldn't be surprised if he had a similar kind of a day.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could get that many points, but to start him already over Stafford, who's Puka Nakua's there.
I mean, Stafford, and I know the Niners are good, but the Niners defense is not as good as it's been, and Stafford's such a lethal weapon. No, I would not make that. And again, like Bryce Young has a good matchup this week. I'm not there yet. Now, if he played well this week and maybe game 1 of the 2 against the Eagles, now you start to change your mindset. What other questions, comments do you have?
This one actually just came in.
Just came in.
Joseph Nava. How many subscribers do you want to drop some merch?
So what is that saying? So to get an amount of subscribers before we start to give merchandise away on the show?
Even give merchandise, sell merchandise.
I mean, these are conversations that we're going to – so here's the thing, Joe. We're going to go into a room and huddle and come out with these answers. And I don't think we're there yet, but we will get there. We will absolutely get there. So can you bring the picks back up and stay here? Because I want to you can bring Steve up here too, because I feel like we've left him out today, and I don't want to do that. Hi, Steve. How you doing?
Hey, Dave.
What's going on?
Doing great.
That's nice to hear. Good. You were at the Yankees game last night, weren't you?
Sadly, yes.
And you're going again tonight?
Yeah, I am.
So there's a chance I see you Friday and you're distraught.
Yeah.
And there's a chance I see you Friday and you're ecstatic.
Yeah.
All right, here's
Should
what
I,
I'm gonna do.
if they win, you think I
You'll
should
be
go to the
ecstatic.
game?
Here's
the
I
next
want
game
I
or
want
no?
you both to answer this question. I give you $10,000 cash. You have to place it on the Yankees or the Red Sox to win this series. Steve, we'll start with you. Where are you putting your money? Even odds. I'm not even throwing odds into the equation. You're getting $10,000 cash. Where are you putting your money?
I'm probably still going to put on the Yankees, honestly.
You believe the
Not
Yankees
even
still
biased.
win? Okay.
I think
Nico,
so.
Nico, where's your money going?
I think our bullpen is atrocious. I can't back down from my team. I'm picking the Yankees.
Well, all right. So you both will be at 10 grand. It looks like.
It looks
That's
like
good. Good for you.
This is
All right.
actually. I have something. If we could take this off.
Yeah, of course you can.
And this is active from outside Yankee Stadium. Me and Steve after the
Is
loss.
that thumbs down?
Thumbs down.
Yeah.
After
By the way,
loss.
Steve, you're a very handsome looking guy. Are you single? What's your situation?
I am indeed.
So if there was a
Indeed
beautiful
single.
woman that watched this YouTube cast, she could.
Oh, she's a
reach
fan
out.
of DRGO.
Oh, right. That would probably. But you're wearing the Judge football jersey. Come
Well,
on,
I've got that
man.
at Yankee Stadium.
But it's such an awful looking thing.
Why?
Because
It's great.
It's ridiculous.
I'm wearing my Goose jersey tonight. So
Your Goose Gossage?
Who's got it?
Mhm.
What number?
I think it's like 47. It's peeling off.
I thought it was 54.
Or could be 54. I saw it's ripping off.
All
so
right.
I don't really know what I'm
So
doing.
this
with
is
that.
after the game, and you guys were just distraught.
Very
Distraught,
upset.
Very
Yeah.
upset. Yeah.
So when the Yankees had bases loaded, nobody out, bottom 9, did you think we will win this game?
I thought we lost. As
Yeah.
soon as the
You
second
thought you lost?
the second I saw Jazz swing at the first pitch, like a classic Jazz like out of the park swing, I knew it was over.
I
right,
thought
so-
once Stanton was done.
All right, so similar time, you guys. So when Stanton was up, you had hope. When Stanton struck out, you both believed that it probably
Yeah.
wasn't going to happen. I had something to say to you, and now I don't remember. What was I going to say? At the Yankees game. Oh, bring the picks back up. This is what I want to do with you. This is where we were. So, and this is sad because you see this weird anguished look on my face, and you see the record is unbecoming. It looks like the flag, and I'm 4-8. But can I walk through this with you guys for a moment, please? So week 1, right? So we're 4-8. I'm writing that down. 4-8. Week 1, I had the Ravens -1.5. They led by 15 points with 4 minutes to go, and I lost that game. Is it fair to say it was one of the worst losses you've ever seen?
Yeah.
That's fair?
That's fair. to
Yeah.
say.
I'll give it
Okay.
to you.
So that would put me at 5-7, right?
We've had a couple of those this year.
Well,
The
let me-
Rams.
let me just continue, please.
Sorry.
Sorry, Dave.
The next week, after having this catastrophic loss, I took the Broncos -1.5 on the road against the Colts. They lined the Broncos are up by 2. The Colts line up for a 60-yard game-winning field goal. It winds up in like a different state. It's not close. Game over. Like, wonderful, nice and tidy. They called leverage on the Broncos. They get a 15-yard penalty. They move forward. They get a re-kick, and they kick home the field goal. Would you not say that was unbelievably bad luck?
Dave Rothenberg's luck.
So
Yeah.
can I, just for argument's sake, that wins. We're 500. We're 6-6. And in a way, it makes the first 2 games look not even bad. I had the Rams +3.5 against the Eagles. The Rams are winning 26-7. Fast forward to the end of the game. The Rams are losing 27-26. 2 seconds left. The Rams line up for a game-winning field goal. But I have the Rams +3.5. So whether they make the kick or not doesn't really matter for my number. Steve, you gamble. What's the only way on God's green earth that I do not cover that game?
They blocked that field goal.
Not only
And-
a blocked field goal.
And take it back for a
the
touchdown.
only way I lose is if they block the field goal and it's returned for a touchdown. And what happens? They block the field goal, they scoop it, and they score, and they win by 7.
I also
Is
had
it
the Rams
fair
on
to
week.
say, you tell me that I, with any modicum of luck or just not wild, crazy things happening, would be sitting here at 7-5 right now?
You definitely would.
Like that's how fickle this is.
Yeah.
That's how fickle this is.
You've had probably the worst first 4-week luck I've seen in a long time.
That's not like you can give me a hard time if you want. That's not like exaggerating. Like
no, that's not exaggerating. I truly mean it. That was the worst luck I've ever seen.
The Rams loss. I mean, had I actually put my own money on that loss, that would have been like lock yourself in a room and don't come out for a week kind of a loss. Awful. However, had the Rams -3.5 this week, win. It was dicey. Got it done. Miami was easy peasy. And had Tampa, they were down big. They came back. They cut it to, I think they cut it to 8. They had the ball deep into the red zone. Interception. They didn't cover the number, but we'll take 2-1s. We'll chip our way back.
That's how you do it. Week by week. Week by week. You should start taking the whoever's playing the Jets. You should just start taking.
That's not going to last forever, though.
I mean, I don't know,
man.
The Jets are pretty.
I'm not saying that, but you guys, it's not that they're going to start winning games.
It's a spread.
But what's going to happen is the spread's going to wind up at such a number that it's just not going to make sense to take. The Cowboys are giving 3 points to the Jets this week. Cowboys defense is all-time bad. They just allowed 40 points. The Giants scored 37 points against them. So I don't know. I don't know that the Jets are going to not cover any of these numbers at all. I mean, listen, Jets aren't good. They covered week 1. They covered week 3. So as bad as the Jets have been, it's still 2-2 against the spread so far this year. All right, guys, throw up the waiver wire pickups because I want to start to give my analysis of why we should go where and what we should get involved with here. All right. So I'll systematically go down in order. Kevontae Turpin, Cowboys. The Jets secondary is really, really bad. And CeeDee Lamb's not going to play again. And the Cowboys, see, it circles all the things you would look at and say, what do I need? All right. Cowboys defense is bad. You said, well, why does it matter if the Cowboys defense is bad if we're talking about a wide receiver on the Cowboys? Because the Cowboys defense is so bad that the Cowboys offense needs to score a lot of points. There's now their number 2 receiver. George Pickens becomes the 1. Hopefully, Sauce Gardner will kind of, shadow George Pickens. And if he shadows George Pickens, then Kevontae Turpin becomes even a better play. I like him regardless. He's going to get a lot of touches. They throw the ball all over the place. So I think he's a real good addition. I don't like this player much. And I've talked about the amount that Darius Slayton is making $12 million. Like they couldn't keep Saquon. That made no sense. There's no way they could do that. But Darius Slayton, they can pay $12 million to. That being said, the football has to go somewhere. All right. Jalen Hyatt, you don't trust him as far as you could throw him. Malik Neighbors is out. He's your number 1 receiver. So now there's 2 guys that you look at and you say, it's Darius Slayton and it's Wan'Dale Robinson. I think Darius Slayton is going to get a good amount of touches moving forward. Now, does it mean he's going to go 8 for 160 and a touchdown? God, no. But could he give you 5 for 64? Yeah. And if I could sit here as buys start now this week, there's 4 teams on buy, and give you a receiver that's going to give you 12 to 15 points to 17 points if he actually has a good week, yes. And I think that's what you're going to get from Darius Slayton. So Kendre Miller. I'm not even sitting here telling you need to play Miller right away, but I want you to have Miller on your roster in case, and I don't think this is a wild thing, in case they decide to move on from Alvin Kamara. Because if the Saints trade Kamara, who I think does have real value on the open market, all of a sudden now, Kendre Miller becomes a pretty good start. And an offense that's not awful. They're really not. They scored 20 points. They can put points on the board. Kendre Miller is, in fact, a nice pickup. Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt continues to get more and more work for the Chiefs. And I think at some point, I wouldn't be surprised. Pacheco is going to always get carries. But if Kareem Hunt got more goal line carries, because he is the tougher, more physical runner than Pacheco. So I think he's a nice pickup at a minimum to stash. And when we get to the bulk of the bye weeks later in the season, you can get him out there onto the field. Kenneth Gainwell is another one. He had a massive week last week. So Jaylen Warren was out. I don't know if Warren's going to be able to play. Now they're on bye this week, play when they come back from Ireland and give it a go. But I mean, Gainwell showed you that he's a legitimate back in this league, scored a couple touchdowns and had a really big week. I think he's someone worth at least rostering right now. I can't even believe I have to mention the next guy. I can't. So Darren Waller was so bad with the Giants and so unplayable with the Giants. And then he retires. And then this offseason, the Giants trade him for like a 6th round pick and a 7th round pick. And you think to yourself, he's never going to play for Miami. He's inactive week 1. He's inactive week 2. He's inactive week 3. And now it becomes a joke. Oh, guess who's active week 4? Darren Waller. Well, you can't play him. Well, Darren Waller on a 4th down makes a glorious catch for a touchdown. And then later in the game, catches another touchdown. So obviously, he's always been a talented guy. If his head's in the game or not, if he's physically healthy is another question. But Darren Waller's at least to have, if you need a backup tight end at any point, not a bad guy to have. And again, we talked about this earlier with the gentleman that sent in the comment or the question about Jackson Dart. I'm not sitting here telling you, yeah, get Jackson Dart in your lineup. He's a great play. But what I will tell you is Jackson Dart is worthy of monitoring. Have him on your roster. And if he can somehow go out there, the problem is also that the Giants, the schedule is so brutal. But I'm excited to see what he looks like in week 2 because the Chargers defense is very good. He's going up against a lesser defense his second stint than he did his first. And you know, Charlotte gave us a lot of good insight into this is going to be a really tough road game. It's really loud there. It's a very tough place to play. You know, veteran quarterbacks have done, you know, worse than rookie quarterbacks there, obviously. But just be aware that if he's available sooner rather than later, you should probably snap up a guy like Jackson Dart. So that's kind of our waiver wire look ahead picks. Get these guys on your roster. Some guys you play right now. Other guys you can certainly get involved with. Have them on your roster, and then down the stretch of the season can get them in there. So, Nico, do we have to pick the winner? Now, you said you've picked it already. You randomized it, but I don't know who that is. So if you could pop on and run your randomizer or pick out who the winner is.
Yeah, so we have the winner chosen. We randomized it after Monday's show. And can we get a little like applause going on?
Yeah. Or so do we have a drum roll that we could do?
Do we have a drum roll?
Do we have a drum roll? Well, can you, Steve, can we really make it professional? Can you just do a drum roll?
Steve, do the drum roll.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. And the winner is
Brandon G.
Brandon G. Congratulations. So he's going to get a Giants mini signed helmet. We're very excited for Brandon. And we'll do that, of course, on Friday. So let's put the big wrap up on this episode today. This game is winnable for the Giants. It really is. They can win this game. I think it would start to send the fan base into more of, hey, you know what? We are heading in the right direction and we are functional. And it's not a one-off of you just got fortunate, a team traveling west to east, a team without, they're starting left tackle, then their right tackle switches to left tackle, and then the replacement left tackle is out as well. So, you know what? Throw some consistency in there. This is not a great team in New Orleans, and hopefully they can find a way to win this game. So that's it. That's our show from today. I just want to let you know, we're going to go earlier on Friday, I believe, and we'll put it out there on social media. I believe we're going to try to go at 11 on Friday because I got to get out of here to get to Pennsylvania. My son has a double header on Saturday morning, but I got to get there on Friday before the traffic gets heavy. So I believe we're going to try for 11 o'clock on Friday morning, and we're going to do all the same things we do. We're going to break down what the Saints are. We're going to talk about fantasy. I'm going to give you my picks. We're going to go through all the things that we typically go through, just at a little adjusted time. We'll discuss the game on Sunday. We'll have our contest winner. We'll present the big, exciting Giants mini helmet to him, locks, and all of it. So again, we can't put it up there because Nico screwed up the formula, but like us, subscribe to this YouTube show. We're back with you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, typically 1 o'clock after the games on Sunday as well. So without any further ado, Friday, 11 is what we're aiming for. If we switch the time, we will certainly let you know on social media. Guys, enjoy the week. Until Friday, this has been another edition of Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession.